Welcome and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. We're continuing on with our tarot message by Human Design Profile, which of course we will get to that tarot message momentarily. If you are here, you are a role model martyr, 6-3 profile, or you may not have a clue. All are welcome, but if you don't know, there's a link in the description below to get your body graph that'll have your profile on it. So you would just need the same information that you need for your natal chart. So your birth date, time, and location. Human Design is a bit more sensitive with the time because there are certain aspects of your body graph that can change based on the time. It's possible, not definitive. So just be aware of that. Like for me, it didn't matter what time I was born. On the day that I was born, I was going to be a 5-1 manifesting generator, but some of the gates might have been different just based on transits and placements in the sky and all of that. But I have seen charts where either the type or the profile change. So just be aware of that. If you don't know the exact time that you were born, maybe you have an intuition that you were born during a certain time of day, like morning, afternoon, evening, overnight. You can use a time that correlates to that. Maybe you've heard throughout your life that you were born at a certain time of day. If you really don't know, of course, you can use noon. You can also just kind of play around with it and see if it would even change for you. Once you put in your information, you'll get something that looks like this. This is your body graph without, of course, all of the notes. This would be unique to you. You'll see up here your type, your definition, strategy, profile, inner authority, your not self theme, and your incarnation cross. Of course, we're going to be using your profile for the purposes of these videos, but your strategy and authority, which is related to your type, that's also something that you would want to check out, because your strategy and authority is going to help you navigate experiences and enter into the correct experiences or not. And correct is, of course. And the profile is kind of how you interact with those experiences and people. So I think that's just kind of one of the many beautiful things about Human Design, is that everything works in tandem with the others. So sorry about that. So we have been reading from the definitive book of Human Design here. We'll kind of finish up the remainder of the reading. We've read this background part here. We've read the personal, and this time we're going to finish here with the interpersonal. And then of course we will get onto the tarot message. So it says, role model martyrs are born with resilience and an ability to sustain their own direction. Life works for them when they can embrace the chaos and confusion and wonderment of their early years and receive all as essential discovery and learning, as this is a foundation for their valuable wisdom. The 6-3 profile needs supportive relationships with people they trust. People who provide the option to pull away or break the bond when necessary in order to reconnect and strengthen it. 6th lines model for us the new way to live in this 9-centered world. Sidebar, if you don't know, there are 9 centers in the body graph. So that's where that 9-centered business comes from. The old ways were based on leaders and followers. The 5th line universalizers, conditioning us into homogenized humans who continually gave their authority to others. Human Design came into the world to liberate the individual and to nurture the uniqueness of all human beings. The essence of this is embodied and demonstrated in the 6th line theme. As we enter into a new era of mutation, getting closer to 2027 and the 6th line way of being in the world, The structures and institutions that support giving our authority over to outside influences will continue to crumble. In the old seven-centered model, we were told what to do. It's not in the nature of the sixth line to do this. Instead, they innocently model what it means to live our lives correctly as ourselves through our own authority. They walk among us in their post-Chiron phase as examples of nine-centered living, allowing the uniqueness to unfold. Sixth lines demonstrate that it is okay to be yourself and that you can find what you need within. I love that. Very cool. And some famous 6-3s are Dan Rather, Farrah Fawcett, Harrison Ford, Matt Damon, Serena Williams, Steve Jobs, King Umberto II, Usher Raymond. Is that the fourth? Usher. So yeah. Did that sound like you? Very interesting. And I know, you know, in the past, or the past two readings, I should say, that, you know, we've done, when I was reading those other sections, it was talking about how, you know, the 6-3s have this potential to be the wisest, as far as, you know, experience and being that role model, right? Because that third line is going to, I don't know, you know, there's the Lovers. I'm just kind of laughing. I don't know why I even looked at the bottom of the deck, but that Lovers card has come out more times in these readings than literally ever in my life. So I just kind of have to laugh about it. Change is afoot. Decisions need to be made. So anyway, so yeah, you know, that third line is going to, you know, pull you into these experiences, because, you know, it's like this inherent need to, you know, kind of figure out like how something works, how it doesn't work. And then of course that sixth line has that three separate, that three-tiered or three-part now the word, of course, has escaped my mind, thing, where, you know, the first 30 years you are living as a 3-3. So, you know, constant, like, I think the book even said something about chaotic and destabilizing, because it's like, you know, there may just be things that you're doing that are just not working out, but they are, because, you know, you're learning what doesn't work, and more so too, like, you're learning what does. So then after 30, you know, is talking about going up on the roof, and that's where, you know, you kind of start, sifting through all of those experiences and information. And but I mean, at the same time, like, you still kind of need that stimulation of getting your hands into something, right? So then after, you know, you're kind of quote unquote coming up and down off of the roof and then going back on the roof, and that just means, like, you know, kind of being more in an observation type of energy, or like being more objective versus being in the mix the whole time. But that third line is still going to need those experiences and to bump up against, you know, things in life and make and break bonds. And like it said, you know, like, even with the purpose of strengthening them if at all possible. Yep, we are just shuffling a million times. We'll do a 6-card spread. I'm just, you know, it's a feeling. I gotta feel it when they're ready. We're looking for a message for our 6-3 role model martyrs. Who it is again. We're getting there. Bear with me. There. All right. Ready? My dog is like, yeah. Because that's what I say to him all the time. Ooh, thunder. We have the 6 of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the Magician, beautiful, the 5 of Pentacles, Temperance, and the the Knight of Pentacles. All right, very cool. So, well, of course, just checking to see if there was any rain that was about to be here. Anyway, so we'll go through each one of these cards, of course, and see what unfolds. I mean, there's definitely first impression. There's definitely a lot of waiting. Like, there's a lot of cards here that talk about delay, slowness, you know. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll kind of see how this opens up for us. So we start with the 6 of Cups. And the 6 of Cups talks about nostalgia, inner child stuff. I mean, you know, we see this child with this puppy, and, you know, I guess we can make the assumption that this is an older version of this kid, right? Like reminiscing, reflection. What other words can I? It's literally the card of the past. And, you know, cups having to do with our emotions. So that's where, you know, the inner child stuff comes from. How do you feel about your past? What is your relationship with your inner child? And maybe you have been in an energy of, you know, healing and really even trying to work through your inner child woundings. And I mean, you know, the book did mention Chiron. Which is, you know, the wounded warrior. So, you know, I mean, you could even maybe take a look at where your Chiron placement is. Human Design does have a placement for Chiron. I think in like Jovian Archive, I don't think has it, but like Genetic Matrix might include it. Or you can just look at your astrology chart and see where Chiron is for you. But yeah, I mean, you know, like maybe you have just been, you know, I mean, the book mentioned, let's see. Life works for them when they can embrace the chaos and confusion and wonderment of their early years and receive all as essential discovery and learning, as that is a foundation for their valuable wisdom. So maybe that's just kind of the energy that you've been in, is, you know, just trying to unpack all of that shit. Like if you are in the age group of, you know, being like 30 to 50-ish, that would be the time where, and it's not to say you don't have to be in that age group. It can certainly be before, it can certainly be after, right? I mean, like we're all on our own journeys. So maybe you're in this energy of, you know, unpacking all of that. And we have the Five of Pentacles here, which talks about lack. Even, you know, just the posture here. Pentacles having to do with money, time, our physical body, like our health. There's like a worry that goes on here, even, you know, like sadness or abandonment is coming up, just because, you know, she's kind of in this room, it looks like, alone. But, you know, there's this key here. So they could get out if they want to, if this is even a room. I mean, this could be, you know, a key to some sort of, you know, memory, experience, place, you know, that you've just kind of kept locked away. You know, I mean, that is what survival mode will do, right? There could even just be a concern where maybe in the past, you know, like you have been in a position where maybe you didn't have enough money. Maybe your health was not in the best place. And maybe you felt like you didn't necessarily have support in any of that. Because, you know, with the Six of Cups here, it would be reflecting back. Like you would be thinking about your past in some capacity, where with the Five of Pentacles talking about lack, you know, there would be something that you would be kind of reminiscing on that has to do with what you didn't have enough of. Physical attention, right? It could be that. But then we move on to this Ace of Swords here, and there's like a new perception. There's a new way of thinking about something. And it could be like, you know, because as we start healing and working through all of our, you know, the majority of us don't escape childhood unscathed, right? And especially, again, with somebody with your profile, there may even just be a bit more trauma there. More chaos, right? And as we start to unpack all of that, and see them as discoveries, right? Because in this depiction here, we have this staircase. And, you know, it's like this, it's almost like this hierarchy of knowledge. It's like, you know, the more that you know, right? The more that you know, the more that you understand, the more your perception of the shit changes. I don't know why I keep cussing so much in this. Excuse me. You know, and the Ace of Swords is the sword of truth. So, you know, it's really seeing the truth of the matter, and in that objective way that did I mention the word objective earlier? Yeah. Talking about being on the roof. Okay. I literally forget things that quick. It is really annoying. So, it's taking that objective view on things, that objective view on your experiences even, and recognizing, like finding the wisdom in those things. It's not easy. I'm not saying that, like it is by any means. It could just be something that you are naturally, just kind of doing. And then we have Temperance here. And this is all of that, all of those experiences, all of that wisdom, all of it is, just swirling. Temperance talks about, this is a card of Sagittarius, so there could be a Sagittarius around you. Doesn't have to be. Who is the Magician? Oh, Mercury. Temperance talks about, I always think of tempering chocolate. Because there's different elements all coming together, right? There's different temperatures, there's different liquids, there's, all of those things. And all of those things have to be put together in a certain way. There are steps that you have to take in order to properly temper chocolate. And if you rush through or skip any of those steps, your chocolate isn't going to temper correctly, right? And you'll literally have to start from scratch. And that's what temperance is. Like, temperance is all of those energies, they're all coming together in whatever way they need to come together. But it's also too, like, they have to break apart and almost, be looked at individually, objectively, and leveled before they can all come back together. There's also this energy of, we have the sun here, we have the moon there. So, just that cycle of how these two even go, right? Like the sun comes up, meaning the moon, it doesn't necessarily go like down, but it's no longer nighttime, right? So it's like, these cycles. And then also, of course, too, the Temperance card is generally depicted as an angel anyway, but we have these angel wings back here a little bit, but it almost looks like you are being guided by, there could be someone who has passed. It could even be the person who, you are reminiscing on over here. They could be in, the spirit realm or the other side. But I do get this feeling of like, it's almost like they're helping, like, if you feel like you maybe just get these like random downloads, how you maybe just even just know something, right? Like, and even too, how we have this Ace of Swords here and this light beam coming out of the top of the card. But it's like, they may just be dropping things into your consciousness, but the purpose of that is to help you understand either them or the situation or why things you know, kind of went or happened the way that they did. But this, again, you know, it's also this, I keep going back to that word objective, but it's keeping what you deem to be useful and letting go of what is no longer useful. And I love how, you know, the Temperance comes after the Five of Pentacles here too, because it's like working through this energy of the Five of Pentacles. And again, you know, like keeping what is useful, letting go what doesn't. It's like, you know, you're sifting through even the energy of these things of your past. And then we have the Magician. So it's like, you know, by going through this process, it's like you're freeing up all of this energy to you know, like allow it to be used for something else. You know, like if it's been stuck in the past, it's, you know, like you're freeing it up from the past so that you can use it moving forward. The Magician talks about manifesting. It talks about, you know, like knowing that you have the tools that you need in order to move forward. This could even just be incorporating all of these experiences and discoveries as wisdom. And it's like you can do whatever you want to do with it, right? Like now there's this freedom to decide, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? What is my authority? Like where does my wisdom lie, right? I love this. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. And it's like, you know, this dedication to moving in a certain direction. Again, with the Pentacles, right? And the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving pentacle. Because that's, you know, I mean, like the 3D world is a bit slower moving. It can be, of course, right? But there is this level of dedication and commitment that is required with the Knight of Pentacles, because you know that it's going to take time for the seeds that you plant to blossom and harvest. There's also this thing about being grounded. You know, I mean, this figure has their feet, their bare feet on the grass here, you know? Like really being involved in your own stuff. This could even just be, you know, like starting on this, you know, kind of new journey, or, you know, this new kind of way of being, or it's just finally starting to open up. You know, we have the Five of Pentacles here, and then Temperance is doing its thing in the middle, and you go on to be the Knight of Pentacles, where you're starting to see the fruits of your labor paying off. And, you know, like that also gives us the motivation to continue, right? Like once we can see the benefit of what we're doing, it just makes it easier to continue to do it, right? But all of this is, you know, kind of slower moving. So this doesn't necessarily mean that like this is going to all be complete in the next couple weeks. I mean, you know, like, not to say that it can't be, but like I was saying at the beginning, you know, like this card, this takes some time. Like I was saying, you know, like certain steps, certain things have to kind of unravel or be looked at, or, you know, whatever the case may be. This person is sitting there again, even just this sense of being grounded. They have their hand on the ground here, feet on the ground here. This could even just be, you know, like maybe if it's accessible to you, like getting out into like literal nature. If you can put your feet on the actual earth. But I mean, even just going to like sit outside under a tree. Don't even get me started on talking to trees, because I do it all the time. And it's interesting because you will feel like a yes or no if they are interested in talking to you. I have given so much stuff up to the trees, like just emotional stuff. Or if I felt like I was working through a difficult energy, you know, like just kind of transitionary type energies, which is what the Five of Pentacles is too, because, you know, the fives are transitionary. It's not something to pitch a tent in, but it is something to kind of allow yourself to move through. But yeah, I've given up a lot of things to trees and asked them, because, you know, they transform. Now, of course, I can't remember the exact, you know, like they make oxygen. So they're like the ultimate transmuters of energy, right? And that's all that I asked them to ever do, is to transmute the energy that I was feeling and turn it into something useful. Just throw it out into the ethers so it can be available for me if I need it, for anybody else who just needs cleansed energy that's available, right? So, you know, if you want to go talk to trees, highly recommend. But, you know, I'm just saying, with both of these things having this grounding feeling to it, like it could very well help you just to navigate through some of this, right? We have the Hanged Man here. And the Hanged Man talks about, again, like the suspension. But this, you know, they're not in distress. There's this light burst coming out here. So there's this at the crown, or even the third eye. But there's this level of enlightenment. And, you know, their hand is coming down. These almost look like ruins. But it's like allowing things to, like giving things the space to come together for you. Like you're involved, but you're also kind of separate from it, right? Like there's this level of surrender that's even happening here. And these are some heavy emotions to move through. We have the Five of Cups. We have the Three of Swords behind there. We have the Moon, like, you know, maybe just kind of feeling a bit unsure of like what's going to happen on the other side, unsure of how it's all going to play out. But then we have the Four of Wands, which is a stable foundation. There's stability and harmony. There's a sense of union. Of course, you know, like they're kind of celebrating, it looks like, or like at a festival. And then we have the Star card underneath that, which is, you know, your heart's desire. It's even trusting the process with the Star card. But it's pulling down your like hopes and dreams and everything, like I said, that you wished for or even hoped for. I love that. Like I said, you know, I mean, they're not necessarily simple energies to be moving through, but you are, in a way, designed to take this journey. And live that other side, right? And just by simply existing, you know, like you become this role model. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for allowing me to read your cards, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.